Okay, it's been a little while because I've been a bit busy with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, but I'm back with another lesson in privacy. People download files all the time. Many of them include bash scripts. So I wanted to provide an example of how your privacy can be compromised if you don't check your source of your download carefully and also check what's inside the script itself. I'm just going to demonstrate with 3 lines of bash how a script could contain these 3 lines of bash. Say you're on GitHub, you look up security software, it just happens to be written in bash, or it has a script along with it that is written in bash. I put together a little example of 3 lines of code that will take your MAC address and send it to a bad actor. We're going to say that this bad actor could have inserted these 3 lines into any bash script, which is 100% possible. You have to be careful about downloading forked items because a forked item is not even the original maker, and someone can easily fork items and then put these 3 lines in, and they would have your MAC address. I talked previously about MAC address, the importance of a MAC address and how it is tied directly to you and how it is basically the serial number of your computer, how Wi-Fi access points log all MAC addresses. There's large databases of MAC addresses. It's deeply tied to our identity. So each device has its own MAC address. Each one very unique. There is no 2 devices with the same MAC address. So you can check my previous videos on MAC addresses for that, but I'm going to show you guys real quick how this can happen to you. You download something with a bash script, just happens to have these 3 lines of code that I put together for you. Basically, this is hidden in base64 encoding, which is basically text that is representing binary. So I'm going to show you the encoding first. So right there, that line right there, that contains everything that we need. And if we put ourselves in the position of somebody who may be trying to compromise privacy, this command would send the MAC address of the machine that runs it over Netcat. So first I'm going to start Netcat. This is on a separate server. So Netcat is listening on port 4444. We have the 3 lines, which I put in this little shell script. It's only 3 lines. And I'm going to show you that real fast. Okay, those 3 lines down here, what does it do? It saves the command we showed you that was in base64 encoding into a variable. It then prints that base64 to a file. Then it decodes and pipes it to bash. So you can see that right here, the variable is saved. It holds the command that would take the MAC address and send it over Netcat to the bad actor who may do something like this, or something that is meant to grab your IP address, or something else that is very personal to you. So after it saves the variable, it then prints the variable and puts it into a file called 64, which doesn't last even a second because the base64 decodes that file into bash command. It pipes to bash and then it removes itself. So as you can see, that is a very short 3 lines of code. Using the base64, the bad actor could hide just about any command you can think of. It could download items, it could install rootkits, it could do horrible things to your machine. So I'm just using this as a small example of one of many possibilities. So we're going to run that now. We have Netcat listening on the other server. We're going to run the 3 lines of code, and like I said, this could be in any download that includes bash somewhere. So check your code carefully, check your sources, make sure you know where you are getting something. So we're going to run that file real fast. And watch over here on the window in the right. You're going to see both the host name and the MAC address. As you can see, the MAC address was just sent over. It is right here. And we have the MAC address. So this is just looking at it from another angle. Just as with when you're dealing with network security, the best way to learn how to secure your system is to learn how people break that security. So basically, this is something that could happen to anyone, and you have to be careful where you get your files. So that was just a lesson in what could happen if you do not check your sources or the inside code carefully. I just wanted to represent that for you guys, just so you could get an idea of what can happen and why you have to be very careful. It could be much more nefarious than this. You could run into something that it installs a rootkit, maybe even a keylogger, something that can take your data, takes pictures of you. It could do various things, could take your banking information. These are all horrible things. None of us want this to happen to us. So I wanted to show you guys a quick example because like I said, the best way to learn network security is to learn how to break it, and also the best way to learn privacy is to learn how it is compromised. So that's what I have today, guys. I hope you liked the video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back later. I have another video coming up, another example in how privacy can be compromised. So stay tuned for that, and like I said, like the video, share it, subscribe, and I'll be back later with more on how you can protect your privacy.